Hello students and welcome to week 3. I'm here with my kitty Marley. Marley, say hi. My kitty Marley, to welcome you to week 3 of English 550. I love that we're digging into the course so well and you all are doing an amazing job in the discussions. I love our discussion of vocabulary development, the way language changes, creativity within our language, which is wonderful. A lot of times, as we've discussed, language change can be controversial, but I hope that this class will help you see that it's really fun and exciting, and when you get to work with a living language, one of the cool things is that it's always changing, and so that really is one of the beautiful parts of it. This week, I wanted to, before we dig into content, I wanted to mention your feedback on your week 1 materials. Everything has been posted, and I want to make sure that you're able to access your feedback on the week 1 quiz because a lot of you had some excellent questions about the final project. And I posted answers to both questions in the general feedback window, so I just want to make sure you're able to see that so that you can have your questions answered. And of course, if you have any follow-up questions, just let me know. You can post them in the course questions area or just drop me a line via email. Now to this week's content. We're going to be moving away from discussion of vocabulary and really digging into grammar and syntax, which if you're a language nerd, this is going to be a really great week. We get to really dig in, talk about parts of speech, looking at different phrases, and we're even going to be looking at sentence diagramming. Now, sentence diagramming is much like language change, can be controversial. People either love it or hate it. There is some research that shows that it's not necessary, but at the same time, if you're going to be an English teacher, I think it's really important to at least know this stuff, even if you don't use it. And then I think as a writer, it can be helpful to think about language at that level. With that said, you do want to be careful in terms of the way grammar instruction impacts your writing and your thinking about writing. There is research to suggest that this kind of overly focusing on grammar can actually hinder your process. So what happens is you start to think about parts of speech more than you start to think about ideas when you're composing. And obviously, if that happens, you got to take a step back. This actually happened to me in grad school. It was grad school before I actually diagrammed a sentence. And when that happened, I started to kind of obsess, like, what part of speech am I writing here? And when that happened, I found that I was unable to get my ideas down clearly. So that's something to think about. You do want to be careful with that. I do love the way our textbook approaches grammar and syntax. I think you're really going to love it. I did also want to recommend, in addition to the wonderful reading in our text, this book. It's called Grammar and the Teaching of Writing. It's by a linguist and Professor Ray Noguchi. And in this, he looks at a writing teacher's approach to grammar instruction from a linguistic perspective. I think you will really like it. If you are an English teacher or are going to be an English teacher, I cannot recommend this enough. This was a life changer for me as a writing teacher. So please check it out if you can. So this week we dig into grammar and syntax. As I mentioned, we have a great discussion where you get to dig into some media. We get to talk about Yoda, which is always fun. I'm looking forward to great discussions. I look forward to seeing the video clips you find, and I hope we have a great week. I look forward to seeing you in the discussions. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.